Welcome back to another episode of the pod. I'm here with my dear friend Vero and Rob Perejil. Guys, how you doing?
Great.
What's up? What's going on?
Nothing much. It's been a couple of years and like of catastrophe and a pandemic since the last time we talked, so all hell's breaking loose. How are things in New York City, man? I'm so jealous that you guys get to live there and wake up to the city and the noises and everywhere you look is a movie, and I'm just so jealous. How is it over there, you beautiful people?
Oh man, it's waking back up. I think New York City might be, gearing back up to what it used to be. It's definitely not the same, but the noise, it's all welcome back. Outdoor seating is kind of cool. The summer, we just had, one of the best summers in the city since the pandemic, so cannot complain whatsoever.
You guys look marvelous, man. You guys are just like walking around fresh, hot as always. Like that's just
I'm not
so,
gonna lie.
man.
Look, we always get stopped whenever we're out and about in the city. It's like, wow,
Do
you guys
people
look great.
That's awesome. What a compliment.
Well, I appreciate it.
So we're here to talk about Vettel's new movie, a documentary called Winner, Jashan Gill. I saw the trailer. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. It definitely piqued my interest. It's right up my alley. Something I definitely would adore watching at a film festival. Where did the concept, the idea, the germ, the spark, where did that come from?
Oh man, it was literally just me saying yes to something. A friend of mine invited me to go downtown, go to a bodega, and just kind of hang out. I was early in my film photography practice, and I would carry a few cameras with me, just here and there, just kind of practice around the city. And I stumbled upon the guys at the bodega, and I brought out a few cameras. They thought it was great. They asked the designer, Jashan, who the film is about. He was there. He looked exhausted, and he's like, "I'd love for you to join my team. I love what you're about." So I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'll join. I joined the team." He had a couple other photographers there and a videographer. So I was like, this might be like a time for me to kind of explore and kind of, just kind of do my thing and be sneaky deaky. So I did, and what came out, I was just so happy with just the photography, and even though it wasn't like my best, it was some of my earliest work with film, with a like 120 and 35 millimeters. So it wasn't that great, but to me, the fact that anything came out, I was like, it was. I mean, it was the whole thing. It was the hustle and bustle, the production, fashion, and models and designers and producers are screaming. Oh my god, it was the best time. Eventually, Jashan had reached out to me a couple more times, invited me to LA, invited me to Paris. I was like, you know what, this is enough to build a documentary. Let me build my second feature. So that's what we're doing now.
What would you say, because you're going to get this question a lot, and as a filmmaker myself, I get this question, and I never know how to answer it. It's the question I get that I hate the most, outside of what camera did you use to film it. But what is Winner about, like, at least to you?
To me, it's my eyes capturing the journey of this guy that is just, he's, like I said, he was exhausted, but he's literally killing it. He's this 25-year-old, I call him kid, because when I saw him, he's so young. He's a little older now, a couple years since then, so he's grown a lot. But it's me through my eyes, through my lenses, through the multiple lenses I use, vintage cameras, old digital from like 1999, old dyno cams, Y2K, film photography, just all of that compiled in a piece where I'm showing pretty much his Fashion Week tour from New York Fashion Week, LA Fashion Week, Paris Fashion Week, talking to his parents, his brother, and someone who inspired him, and someone who kind of like lifted him into the fashion world. This kid was just so, I don't know what it is. Maybe a little bit of woman's intuition. I don't know. Something was telling me, like, just follow this kid around and see what happens.
And his energy too. He has really good energy. So
He's yeah, great energy. He's very collaborative. Yeah, that's I just to me it's pretty much just everyone seeing what I did with this guy. That's it.
Man, I'm so jealous of that. There is a sort of New York City romanticism of like, I'm just here at this bodega, and then here, all of a sudden you're on a magic carpet ride to Los Angeles and Paris. Like, how does that even happen? Rob, from your perspective, like, start, talk to me about this journey for you. Like, what did it look like? Did you see yourself making a movie, and where you at now?
it's actually very, very I don't even know how to say it. How to say it. It's just I'm just I kind of got pulled into it. She invited me. She goes, "Hey, I'm working Fashion Week," and I think a season before after Jay was when she told me to come out, and I just started coming out to New York, playing around with the camera. I say she's my mentor. So Mother Moonlight.
Stop.
But yeah, she invited me, called me. She goes, "Hey, do you want to come out to LA? I live in Seattle right now." And I said, "Yeah, I'll come down and shoot with you. Whatever you need me to do, I'm down." And I called up one of my boys who used to live on Guam. I'm from Guam. And he was stationed out there. He had like a nice penthouse, all of that. And I said, "Brother, what's up? Yo, I'm coming to LA. I know I haven't seen you in 10 years since you left the island, but I'm coming out." And he's like, bet, say less, say less. And he took us in, and yeah, we had a pretty great time out there. And then
We got to shoot at Sony Picture Studio in Hollywood, which is really cool. What a great location. Afterwards, we had the penthouse. Since we had the penthouse, we did a whole photo shoot out there. There was like a rooftop pool, the whole LA thing. Did a
felt
cool.
like we were in GTA, just like being on that top, choppas flying around.
Yeah.
It was cool, yeah. And I'm really thankful he was there to help me, and not only just like knowing, like having resources and having connects out there in LA, but just he's new in his photography practice, and so it's kind of like, dang, I remember being there. I was like, I remember this. I was so excited. So I'm just thankful he was like there for help.
And I don't mind, I tell everyone even my nephews and stuff, when they ask me about my friends, it's like, bro, I do not have ordinary friends. My friends do dope shit, like point blank, and she's one of them. And
Thank you.
I never thought I would be on this journey, but here I am. And when was that? A couple months ago, she gave me the call. She texted me, "You got time to talk?" And I was like, I'm in a like a training right now. What's up?" And I said, "Come outside." And she told me we were headlining the festival, and I was like,
Wow.
I was like kind of in shock too, because I was just like, wow, really, like shit's getting real serious here.
No.
And then from there on, we've been whatever she needs. I email whatever she wants. It gets done.
Oh man, it's very helpful. It's very helpful.
Rob, what is your, obviously, you are a photographer, but what is your background in filmmaking? Because this sounds like this is the first movie you ever made.
It is. I have no.
Isn't that a little scary?
Not. It's a tad bit scary, but it's very thrilling too. It's like, damn, I never thought I would be doing something like this before. It's insane. And then, we talk about it, and like, this is really big, actually.
Yeah.
So I'm still kind of in that shocked phase of what we're doing, but
Yeah.
it's a good thing, and it's a really good feeling, and I'm so happy she brought me on this project. Something I needed.
Got
Yeah.
I want to geek out a little bit about the film process, because this is my podcast is very process oriented. How many shooting days would you guess, unless you actually know, was this picture from beginning to end? And is it over? And when did you know as a documentary that it was over?
Let me think. New York was about 5 days. LA was 4 days.
Well, yeah,
Paris
fine.
would have Paris. The shooting in Paris was what they shot for 3 days, and then London was 1 day, and then Birmingham, UK was 2 days. So if you whatever that number is, you can put it right here.
About 16 days, about give or take
Wow, you
about
just that
16
killed it.
shooting
Yeah,
days.
that's how many days. That's filming days, for sure. And then what was the other question?
How did you know as a documentary that it was over? Like when did like how does a documentary end?
I don't think it's over yet.
Oh gosh, I'm getting tired. When I'm tired, I in my body, I know when things are just done. And that's, I don't know, that's a quality that I love about myself. When it's done, it's done, and I'm fine with that. And
Mm-hmm.
just cut that cord. It's
Mm-hmm.
burn that bridge. I'm completely fine with things being finished. So when my body, like, if I'm to traveling, I'm also like I'm 37 now, and I'm in a whole relationship, and I have a whole lifestyle, and I'm trying to even buy a house soon. So in my mind, I'm like, you know what? Like this kind of vibe and this energy, I think I'm done with it. The Fashion Week, I think I'm done with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's on to something else. Maybe not necessarily quitting filmmaking, but definitely onto a different project. Just cut a cord.
Question for both of you. During Fashion Week, how are you able to shoot a movie but also be present and enjoy Fashion Week at the same time?
Um,
And was this your first Fashion Week?
no, I believe I did 2 seasons already, but Fashion Week, it's fun, but it kind of got over it once I experienced the first time around. I was like, man, I need something to get me through this. It's exhausting, so yeah, but I think this trip around, because it just Fashion Week just ended. One of the models from LA hit me up. He lives out here, and a couple nights ago he goes, "Bro, I really need this outfit photograph. Can you please help me?" It was like we were outside till like 1 in the morning, getting some good shots and stuff like that, and it's
The networking is
yeah,
crazy.
the network. It really is.
The networking is crazy. Everyone's willing to help each other. The collaborations are cool. Everyone's like got really cool ideas. We really like it. For
I love the energy about it, but it's like it's very exhausting. Let's
Yeah, it's very exhausting. That when I was with Jashan the first time, when I brought with the cameras and all that jazz, I that was my very first fashion week ever. In fact, I had no interest in fashion whatsoever.
Oh wow.
Even now, I think even being in that world for so long and being around the names and the designers and the houses of this and the houses of that, it was so pretentious to me, right? And it was just really, it got so old so fast. And I'm like, all right, another 6 foot model coming through. She's running, make way. Here she comes. Like I'm just, oh gosh, it's just not my vibe. But I am very, very. The thing that drew me to keep doing this was the chaos. I love production. I think that's what it is. I love being on set. I love being around people who get it, and people on in production in fashion week in the fashion industry, they get it.
it's good stress.
Oh, good
Yeah.
stress. The good chaos.
How did you know that this was going to be a documentary? And did you study any documentaries? Because Perspectives is a documentary. Did you study? I remember asking you this before, but you didn't come from like a filmmaking background. You're an artist. Um, did you study any films? Like, how did you know to include yourself so that you, the artist, the poet, was also going to be like part of the movie?
I wonder.
Because there are documentary styles that are kind of like that,
Yeah.
like a Werner Herzog. He's a part of the movie as well, you know, and I feel like you are too.
I,
How did you know to make that decision?
I wonder. I remember. Gosh, I take a lot of influence from Andy Warhol actually, and a lot of my what is it, my decision making in art or in expression, in the variety of expression that Andy Warhol did. I really like just
His vibe.
just not it's just like he just did anything from filmmaking to photography to polaroids to painting to screen painting to sculpting to anything. And he ran studios, he did all these things, and I really like that. I think that this particular film, it's more, I wanted to make it more about my eyes. It's itself is a piece of art to me. Yeah. And it's a documentary to PR. You know? And it's art to me. I'm referencing heavy Chelsea Girls and Warhol.
What is Chelsea Girls?
Chelsea Girls is a film from the 1960s, filmed by Andy Warhol, and it's so beautifully. Anyone who's is familiar with Chelsea Girls, it's filmed split screened and beautiful on two, like, I think it's two 8mm or two 16mm cameras, and one side is so calm with dialogue and just like something easy, and the other side is just chaotic and there's things happening, which was reminiscent to me of Fashion Week.
Can either one of you, a question for both of you, tell me a story about the chaos where like you guys were scared, where you're like, oh shit, like do we have a movie? Like, what is something dramatic that happened, if anything at all, because things go wrong on production all the time. Filmmaking is about perseverance. Like it's a lot like giving birth. Not that I ever have, but when you get through to the other side, you're relieved, right? So can each of you tell me a story about a day or a time or a moment where you're like, holy fuck, like I'm in over my head, or was there no drama whatsoever on set and it was just chill?
I think for LA, when I went with her, it was pretty much chill. I think the hardest thing was it was kind of just exhausting a couple of days, and I don't.
Working with me is pretty chill, I guess. I don't know.
Damn.
We work together, and I think it's because we both feed off each other's energies, and we're both collaborative people. There's never any drama, even within our friendship. There's never any drama.
Yeah.
Whatsoever.
You gotta be a good crew member too. You gotta be likable on set. And just say yes to things. It's okay if he has an idea. Yeah, let's do it. Let's just try it. Let's just go for it. And he's like,
and I don't get butthurt either when if it's. She'll let me know. I'm like, yeah, that is kind of dumb.
I'm like, no, that's dumb. I know. But for the most part,
I trust her judgment on most things anyway. So.
For the most part, yeah, it's easy swinging. I think the most dramatic part was looking for venues for the screening. He's producing the entire screening for New York City, so venues and catering and things like that. So he's really on the post-production side, helping me out heavy right now.
I think with the planning of the premiere, the hardest thing is just waiting on responses from people, because it's just like, man, I just need to know if it's a yes or no. Like, what's going on?
Just say something. I'm emailing you. Say something.
There's times where
you get it.
I'll call her. It's like, hey, am I supposed to be doing something? Because we'll go over our checklist, and it's like, no, we're just waiting on. So that's really about it.
Dang. Yeah, it's not too dramatic for you. I think for me, I can tell about the spool.
Tell me.
Spool. Oh my God. the infamous spool. So when you're shooting with medium format cameras, look back here. That's the Lubitel 2, the one with the dual lens. It's the
Mm-hmm.
Lubitel 2. It's 1947 Soviet Union camera. It takes medium
Mm-hmm.
format film.
Mm-hmm.
It could take 120. It can even take 620, 127 if with an adapter, even 35 millimeter. But that was the camera that I used for Fashion Week, the first Fashion Week. I had just got it from Vancouver, just flown to me. I got it in a working condition. I was setting up. I had everything all together. I like pride myself on being very prepared. It's like a quality of mine that I learned from the military that I brought
Mm-hmm.
here. I just love
Mm-hmm.
it. Hold on. So the organization that I have, like everything was. I thought I set everything out, and
Mm-hmm.
I get to Fashion Week, and I'm loading all my film. My 35 millimeter setup. My 620 Kodak is set up. My Lubitel, I need one, like I have the film and it needs another spool, one spool to grab and
Uh-huh.
pull up the film,
Yeah.
and I didn't have it. I was literally 30 minutes from showtime.
Shit.
I was like beside myself. I was like, oh my god. I was calling film shops like in the area. This is New York City, like film shops. You can like, film shops. You can like, you can spit far enough and hit a film shop somewhere. So like,
Mm-hmm.
you just gotta call them up. No one had with 120 spools, and I was, what is this like? Where do I live in the food desert, in a film desert? This is ridiculous.
During Fashion Week, of all
During
times.
Fashion Week, come on, you gotta be kidding me. I called, a past, colleague of mine, and she couldn't do it. You know, it's hard to rely on people these days. So I just gotta run. I gotta run. So I get in a cab. I get in an Uber. I go to this film shop. I'm calling them on the phone. They're like, "Yeah, we have 120." And I ran over there. I jumped in. And I just screamed, "I'm here for the 120 spool!" And someone just lifted it up, and I grabbed it and I ran out and I called the Uber and they came. They dropped me off, and then the past colleague of mine was standing outside the venue when I got there with the spool, and she was just getting a picture taken, smoking. And so I walked up to her, I grabbed her spliff, I gave it back to her, and I walked back in and I shot Fashion Week just like that. I made it just in time, literally like maybe like 5 minutes until showtime, and I made it.
That is iconic. Wow.
Yes, very.
Vero
Uh,
icon.
Yeah.
Vero
Vero
icon.
icon.
On yeah.
So cool.
On the flip side, what is a moment for both of you where you're like, holy shit, like, I'm kind of living it. I'm living the dream right now, or like this is what the movie is, or just a moment where maybe it was when it was over, something where you're like, I can't believe we got that, or like this movie is going to be a banger because we got that one scene, or something on set that happened where everything was like aligned. Like, can you guys tell me a story about something that was just cosmic on set?
Let me think. You go ahead.
Let me think. Okay, so it would be the first. It would be the photograph
Uh-huh.
that Jay and I are both. We're just both like, wow, like this is fabulous. It came from the dual lens camera. It's a photograph of. I was backstage. There's actually a picture. I'll send it to you. There's a picture from the pit looking down the catwalk,
Mm-hmm.
and you see little old me with all my cameras around my neck, and I'm like this with an old camera, and I look so little and tiny. It's so funny. Um, I was taking a photograph of Jay um, thanking the models. He puts his hands together and he just did this,
Mm.
and he comes up, and I take this photograph. And the thing about it was I wasn't supposed to be standing in that location, but I guess I'm of the natures like ask for forgiveness than permission.
Yep, not permission.
Exactly. So I'm standing there, no one's telling me anything, so I'm just gonna act like I belong here, right? So
You do belong there.
thank you. So this camera, you press it against yourself, and you use yourself as like the stabilizer tripod, and and this is a camera from 1947, and I don't know if you know this, but Fashion Week is not the brightest, thing ever.
Ooh.
It's just bright in the location, but it's very dark and dramatic,
Yeah.
especially when the designs are dark. So I'm here trying to do it. I'm like, I have no time to breathe, no time to check aperture, no time to check ISO, no time. Well, the ISO's set because it's in the film, but no time to check
Yeah.
nothing. So I'm
Wow.
sitting here, click, twist, click, twist, click, twist. That's all I was doing. And I got this one picture of Jay bending over
Oh, that was a good shot.
and doing this. And this was the moment I knew this kid was special. Like I knew him at that moment. I was like, I know him. I know this kid. I see the ethics. I see the motivation. I see the work
Yeah.
he's doing, and
Yeah.
he's familiar to me. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
my
I read that on the blurb that you sent me too. So that photo, that was like the moment, huh?
That one, yeah. It was such a
Wow.
cool.
Rob.
It just, and the fact that it came from this camera, and the fact that it came from this camera, the fact that it was like a moment of just like I've never felt so still
Mhm.
and sure of, like, I wasn't sure of anything. I was sure of nothing. I was only betting on my work. I was just betting
Yeah.
on my sensibilities. All
Mhm.
five of my senses working
Mhm.
right now. That's all that mattered.
God damn. That's what I love to hear. I love it.
Thanks. Yeah, I love it too.
I think my moment when I had that damn shit's really getting real was when she sent me the trailer
Mhm.
and just the whole intro of the trailer, and I was just watching it on my phone. I was like, fuck, this is really this is really good. Shit's getting real. Like so yeah, I think that was my my moment of realizing how big the film is becoming too as well.
Oh man, that's so huge. Vettel, did you edit this movie yourself? Like just you?
Yeah, just me. Just me. It's a lot of
Talk to me
work.
about I can only imagine. Talk to me about like the project management. You're very organized.
Yes.
Um, you're in New York, you're in LA, you're in Paris, you're in London, you're in Birmingham. Like, how are you backing up all this footage? How are you like? Are you editing as you're filming? When did you start editing? Like, can you talk to me about like the post production process? Because
Sure.
I do a lot of day in the life kind of slice of life stuff, and so I've been in the trenches,
Mm.
but you know when the stakes are so high, we're talking Fashion Week, um, where everything's like essentially one take. I'd imagine. So talk to me about like the editing process and just the fluidity of it and narratively like the composition. Like how did you? I mean, walk me through that. I'd love to hear your process on that.
Yeah, sure. um, let me think. Okay, so the first, I started, I started creating, I suppose, the aesthetic, the concept with the first, with this frivolous, to me, frivolous, video where, oh, the first Fashion Week. It was just like a content video. I just wanted to be like, hey, I was there.
Yeah.
And I used I used the song Heroin by Velvet Underground.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, absolutely love that tune. I have it on vinyl. It's one of my favorite tunes. It's just, it has, oh my gosh, and it just reads so well of 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 what I was of how I was feeling. It just interprets it. The chaos
Yeah.
of the song starts off really paced, and like the preparation, the dun 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 dun, like cadence, a little paced, a little, then it opens up to beauty, and I'm curious, and I'm thinking of all these things as it's happening, and I'm even like, I don't know, I was already thinking of this song. I was already kind of in love with this song when Fashion Week was happening. So when I was editing this content for social media, I was like, I'll just use this tune. And I got a lot of great feedback on just using that style, cuz it's very often a lot of people use, like lo-fi or hip hop or beats or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I used psychedelic music from the 1960s and 70s. So it, and it was just the way I shot it too was very raw. So it just kind of tied really well in. Keeping that in
Mm-hmm.
mind, the next when I went to LA, um, I kind of kept on to that ruggedness, that kind of dirty, rugged sound, and then, you know, as it was like, what is it, L.A. It was L.A. when I came back from L.A. I looked at my footage, and I started just kind of watch. I have a lot of video. I was like, I have so much video, and I'm like, I'm following this kid around. I could probably make a documentary. I started putting it together, kind of like slicing it, and it's like, let me see. I have like a lot of B-roll too, like of our friend Cannon driving a Tesla, and his feet are hanging out the window as it's self-driving, and he's just rolling up a blunt, just as the Tesla self-driving in LA. You know what I'm saying? During LA Fashion Week, it was just like the coolest thing ever. I really hope my nieces and nephews see this. So I'm cool. I'm the cool aunt. All right, I'm the cool one.
It definitely made me the cool uncle.
Yeah, we're cool as fuck. But but it was a lot of like chaos. So keeping all these things, the music, and then the kind of footage that I take is very shaky because I'm very inexperienced. Also because it's very run and gun. I don't have time to stabilize a gimbal. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
gotta go.
Yeah.
I don't have time.
Yeah.
You're lucky I even am holding it with two hands. Like, come
Yeah.
on, bro, help me out. So I
Yeah.
lean on that because I know that I'm limited. I lean on the things that make it a little different. So keeping in mind, Chelsea Girls now, Andy
Yeah.
Warhol, Chelsea Girls, Heroin by the Velvet Underground, which was produced by Andy Warhol. It's all kind of just coming into like, it's. I have such a great reference with Andy Warhol, and I'm able to feel what I see in Chelsea Girls and what I hear in Heroin, and then I'm just like, and I'm just slicing it together, and y'all like it.
I love that. Rob, you said that Veto's kind of like a mentor to you. What have you, talk to me about y'all's relationship. Like, when did you guys meet? And, and how long have you guys known each other? When did you realize she was your mentor? Like, what do you, and I don't want this to sound shitty, but like, what do you hope to get out of your relationship with her? Like, not in a transactional way, but like as a mentee, like what do you hope to walk away with skill wise, acquisition wise? Talk to me about you and Vettel's relationship.
We met at EDC like 2017, and her mutual friend knew one of my mutual friends, all military, and she left. And to be honest, well, we followed each other on Instagram, and then she left. And to be honest, I just never thought I would really see her again. And just following her Instagram throughout the years, I was like, hey, wow, like, yo, you really do some dope shit. Like, I would love to like come to New York and like, would you mind showing me how to do some of that stuff like that?
Mm.
And well, actually, the reason why I wanted to come to New York was 'cause I wanted to live my Home Alone Christmas fantasy, running around New York around Christmas time. And she goes, "Hey, you can stay at my spot." And and for that, every time I come, I just buy the meals. I stay for free.
Yeah.
I buy the dinners and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
her and her fiance are very into food too. So obviously, I'm a big boy, so I like to try all the find new spots and you know eat well, smoke a blunt, and eat. And,
Oh man.
I tell people this. I said, instead of paying $400 to a therapist, I'd rather book a flight to New York, buy some weed,
Mm.
smoke, and get lost in the city. And instead of having someone tell me I'm fucked up in the head, when I can just do that out here. But as far as our relationship goes, lifelong friends. Like I come to her if I need uh, assistance with like a photography that I'm doing, or just what do you think? Like just general, what do you think about this? Does this aesthetic look nice or whatnot? And I trust her judgment 100%.
Oh, thank you.
Vero's taste, I mean, like every artist's taste, is really what makes them who they are, their style, how they conduct themselves, how they behave, how they move. Question for both of you, like, where did you guys and how did you guys develop your taste? I know we've talked about Andy Warhol a lot, but he's like one inspiration, I'm sure, amongst many. Talk to me about your taste and how you guys influence each other and elevate each other.
I still haven't found what my taste is yet. I'm still on that journey of finding what my style is. But I can tell you that I do love film noir. It was one of the concepts I proposed to her for one of our other clients, and I'm still on that journey of finding out what my style is for now. Um,
Rob, how many birthdays have you had?
38, just hit 38 this year.
38. And how long have you been an artist?
2 3 years now. I would say
Okay.
with when it comes to
Yeah.
photography, just 2 to 3 years, and
And what
within
inspired
those
you
years,
to become an artist?
what was that?
What inspired you to start like at 35?
I've always had a interest in photography. I'll see a picture, I'm like, damn, that's such a dope ass picture and whatnot. And when she kind of took me under her wing, that's when I started, getting more into it. And you know, it
You
yeah,
kind of want to be like Vettel, am I right? It's kind of hard when you're in her orbit. When you're in her orbit, it's like I want to be like that. I want to be cool like that.
my nephews, they see what I do. They're like, damn, Unc, can you show me how to do that? And that's what I kind of want to be too, an inspiration to other people. I want to show them that, yo, you can do dope shit, and you don't have to do all this dumb crap. Like, come and get creative. You know, I would rather my kids be creative than be out doing stupidity out there.
Mhm.
And she kind of did that for me, and that made me want to be an inspiration for other people too. So
Oh, that's good. I'm glad. I guess that's what it's all about. It's just learning and
Vettel,
giving back, learning and giving back.
Vettel, your taste, like you're so intuitive.
Oh,
A lot of it's like feeling and sensory, like you said. But when I look at your art, like it takes me back to something familiar. It takes me back to something to aspire to. It feels fresh, but you mentioned Andy Warhol and heroin. Talk to me about your influences and what inspires you and what where your taste comes from, because I think we all want some of that. We all want to put it in a bottle and keep it for ourselves.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm throughout my art, I guess, what timeline, I've been an artist for like maybe 10 years now, like since I left the military. I've just been just kind of hitting the ground running with so many different kinds of styles of, well, different mediums of art, painting and sketching, then sculpture, music. I play multiple instruments.
The crown.
Yeah, I make costumes, and now photography, now film, now DJing. I do vinyl DJing. It's just like I don't know what it is. I'm so curious. I felt like maybe I feel as if I was maybe deprived when I was younger of the stimulation. Growing up, I grew up in Texas.
I kind of feel that same way too.
Well, I was growing up in Texas, and in the 80s and the 90s, it's not what it is today, right? So it's, I guess in my area, I live in Southeast Houston too, and it was just still very suburban and still kind of oil fields. They kind of expect you to do a thing. And I just was so curious. I was like, no, there's got to be something else. I want to leave. I want to go find out what things are. Tried the military, tried all these things, right? I don't even do what I did 10 years ago anymore. I don't do what I did 5 years ago anymore. I think, gosh, I want to do everything. I can't do everything all at once though, so I'm going to do a thing for a while until I find a new thing to do. So I think my taste really just comes from
what stems your curiosity at that
what my taste is, I think, is something that I can learn quickly without a lot of tools, that when I do poorly, it's still really dope.
She's a quick learner, though. I was just telling
I
her
love that.
You like it? Thank you.
She's a quick learner. What else? What were you saying?
Yeah, I was telling her that when I got in, I was like, damn, you really picked shit up pretty quickly. Like when she just got this DJ set, and even like one of my friends who follows her, he's a DJ. He goes, damn, she got the battle mixer, and I was like, yeah. So
I'm here. I'm like,
I commend her for that. She's such a quick learner, and I was like, man, I wish I had that ability.
So is Jashan like part of the team, or is he more like a muse for you guys?
I never thought of him as a muse, actually. I guess he's the subject of the film. I guess he would be considered the muse. He really was, like, this work ethic and the things that shined out of him was just, he made me, I guess I felt his energy. He's like, he can give energy. He's a good giver. He's a good motivator. He's a good clown. So I think, I fed into it. I received very well to the energy he was giving out. And so when I was around him, it was really cool. And to be like, listen to this British guy just talking his shit and just, and it was just so cool. And talking about fashion and what he's like inspired by. It's really, he's just a cool dude that we're going to remain friends. I mean, I know his mom, I know his dad, I know his brother, I know his everybody now. I that's something I really like about this process of documentary film as well. I'm really, like, these are some connections because I'm having very intimate moments with people, really discussing things. Like, I've brought people to tears, what I'm saying? So, like, I know that Jay is more than a colleague, more than a muse. He's like a really good friend and just a good guy. Yeah. Good guy.
So as we're wrapping things up here, I want to talk about the afterlife of the movie. As of this recording, is it picture locked? Because I saw on the website that it's still in post-production.
It is. So we're going over the draft soon. and then doing a little bit of tweaking here and there, and then sending it out to the film festival. It'll be premiering in the UK on November 7th, and or is it November 7th? November 6th. It's November 6th in the UK at Mac Theaters in Birmingham. It's going to be during the Square Eye TV Festival, which is in part with the Royal Television Society, which are like
Wow.
all big deals apparently. Wait, mix that part.
They are big deals.
Yeah,
I'll cut
I'm
that. Don't worry.
excited.
Hmm.
That's one of the moments too. But I'm like, when she tells me stuff like that, I'm like, damn, this is a big fucking deal.
It's a
for
big
real.
deal. Yes, I'm excited. It's a good time.
It's very, I guess, what is it, surreal moment for me, because it's like, man, I never thought I would be a part of such an amazing project like this.
Good, I'm glad. Yeah, honestly, me neither, and I'm really glad it's unfolding. We are having, besides the Birmingham premiere, we are having a New York City premiere in December 7th, here in New York City, Midtown. And we will be also, hopefully, we'll be having a couple more private screenings around the city. We have a couple venues that are interested in doing some private screenings. So we're like, okay, well, let's do some things like this. It'd be really nice. So after this, I do think I can't say too much, but we are in discussions with a couple of names who are interested in purchasing the rights to the film. And I am I guess I am thinking right now that I'm just going to take the money and run and put it towards my next film.
So you do see yourself continuing to make movies then?
Yes, there are a couple of there's like I still have footage from the past that I can't just like let sit in a hard drive. I'm gonna have to bring them to life somehow, even if I only have part footage. Let me make this into a film now. Let me actually invest in traveling again and filming again and maybe getting interviews again. I'm really interested in these perspectives, so to
No
speak.
pun intended.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's so exciting. If, you take the money and run, that's sort of like the indie filmmaker's dream right there.
Right.
Where does this movie, where does it, like, how do you know? For me, when I say like, that's a wrap, I'm sorry I might cut this, but,
Go ahead.
I kind of like lose my erection. Like I nut, like it's over,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and so like, and then everything else is kind of like post nut clarity. Like, okay, now I got to cut this. Now I got to premiere it. And like, I'm sort of like over it. As a matter of fact, friend of the podcast, shout out to Juan, J.R. Molina.
Yeah. Hey,
He's in
Juan.
our hometown. He's showing his movie, and I could have went back to my hometown and showed it. And I'm like, I'm over it. It's over for me. We wrapped that a year ago. Like, what's next?
Yeah.
So for you, like, when is like the high over? Is it over? Is it ever over? Does it overlap to the next project? Like, how do you know, like, when do you get your nut? Both of you.
Ooh. Do you want to go? Are you...
I get mine when she tells me to, I guess.
Oh my God.
We're done.
Professionally, of course.
Of course.
My bad, Mom. That was kind of kicking
Yeah,
up.
I guess for me, whenever, gosh, it's never over for me. I'm so excited to work on the next thing. We already have the plan for the next thing. I already have a treatment together. I already have people interested in helping. We're working with a sound composer who's a 2-time Grammy Award winning sound composer. He's fabulous. I can't really name drop right now, but he's fabulous, and he wants to help on the next film, which is I'm really excited about the next topic. And I've never made a film that I planned, so I'm really excited to really, just make a plan and then do it instead of doing it. I'm like, hey, this is good. Let me make a plan.
So that was going to be my final question, but you kind of answered it. I was going to ask, what's next? It sounds like, you know, there's a premiere this month. There's a premiere December. You know, you're going to potentially, you know, take that bag and run with it. I mean, I love that. You're already working on the next thing. Do you, as far as like your filmmaking process goes, do you stop everything else that you're doing and then just focus on the movie for 6 weeks or 6 months, or are you able to do multiple projects and multitask at the same time?
Oh yeah, we're working on multiple projects. I myself am working on multiple projects as well. Can't stop and I won't stop. I don't know what it is. I love the chaos and I thrive really well in it. It just helps me keep some fire into my ass, keep me outside of the house too, so I don't get stuck and kind of, you know, landlocked. But we do have a couple clients right now who are wanting to do YouTube series, music videos. She is a fabulous DJ and like really dope rock star, but she's she's amazing. So we have some other things going on that I'm just kind of driving me crazy a bit, but you know, it's just because it's a new client and things will start folding over, you know, especially when I finish the draft and then things will calm down until the premiere. You know, being a filmmaker, you have a lot of downtime, but when you're
Hmm.
the on time is on, but then the downtime is like, okay, you got like 6 months, you're not doing nothing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. Where can people support you guys on the internet? Where can they contribute to the cause? How can they follow you? I mean, both of you. I mean, this is a time to be selfish and get your shit in.
Yes. Oh my God, here it comes. So yes, well, my name is Vero. You can find me at Vero icon underscore. I also have a Noonlight studio, but it's at Noonlight TM. Rob, what is your?
My Instagram is kilog.nyc, and
Yeah.
that's what pretty much I'm very active on. You know, I get engaged with my followers too. Everything else, I'm not that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We also have a website on my personal website. If you go to vero.nyc/winner, you can see more about the website. There's also a trailers up on my Instagram on the website. And we have an Indiegogo. Just if you look up winner Jashan Gill, you'll definitely get that. Anything helps. We are looking for funding. But you know, between now and buying, oh, not but between now and being the ugh,
Film being purchased.
between now and purchase, we are doing this all out of pocket. So you know how that can be. Anybody who's ever
Mm-hmm.
made a film, you know how that can be. So any little bit can help, and we're more than happy to host you at our film at our we would be happy to invite you to our premiere in New York City or Birmingham if you're there. Yeah, for sure. We'd love to have you.
Both of you, Rob, Vettel, thank you so much for coming on my show and letting me geek out and talk to you guys. I can't wait to personally watch the movie. Big fan of perspectives. So I'm looking forward to the next big thing. You guys are beautiful. Thank you.
Oh
It
my
was
gosh.
nice meeting you, brother.
Thank you, Knives. I really appreciate you.